Now, some would argue, well, that's what happened in December, right? All this, enthusiasm about the strategic Bitcoin reserve. We went well above fair value. Fair value was 85. We got to 106. And now they're like, oh, it's over. We missed it. I'm like, no. So I do this 10 surprises. And one of my surprises was, look, everyone thinks number go up, 4-year cycle's over. I'm here to say it's not. So what's likely to happen in my mind is we're going to have our typical crypto fall.
마크 유스코는 미국의 유명한 투자 전문가이자 오랜 시간 동안 전통 금융과 암호화폐 투자에 대한 깊은 통찰력을 바탕으로 비트코인의 장기적인 성장 가능성을 강력하게 지지하고 있는 인물 중 하나인데요. 오래전부터 코인에 대한 그의 예측은 높은 적중률을 보이고 있고, 이런 그가 2025년 비트코인 전망과 가치에 대해 설명했습니다.
Let's get to the business of the day and March Madness here with Bitcoin. Mark, I know you there was a Cointelegraph article a little bit ago associated with, your thoughts.
It's accurate. Look, there are a whole bunch of people that, starting middle of last year, post ETF adoption, as Trump was getting closer to winning the White House, we're like, it was really kind of post Nashville, post Bitcoin 2025, where it was like, the 4-year cycle's over. We're going to the moon. It's up only. And I'm like, guys, let's think about this for a second. The 4-year cycle is embedded in the code.
Yeah.
It's literally embedded in the code.
Yeah.
And what are you talking about? I'm like, well, let's think about how this works. Every 4 years, you cut the number of block rewards. Okay, well, why does that matter? Well, in theory, if you do that, half of the miners would go out of business, right? Their costs are fixed. So they will hold their coins until someone bids them higher. So there's a built-in price escalator every 4 years. Well, that attracts attention, right? I mean, guys in particular, I say, if somebody were to walk down the hall, I would look at them because guys, we're hunters, right? Our eyes follow movement. I joke all the time. My wife says, get the ketchup. I open the door. Honey, there's no ketchup. She walks up. She grabs the ketchup. If it ain't moving, I can't see it. And that's just reality. And so this price starts to move, and that attracts attention and attracts capital, and we start to move again. And so normally that halving event occurs toward, crypto summer. So we're starting to get back toward fair value after the last crypto winter. We go through winter, we go to the fall. Then you have this year of, spring. And spring is kind of yucky. It's windy, it's cold, it's wet, it's mushy. And so you're kind of bouncing along the bottom, starting to drift up. And then in summer, you start to head back toward fair value. People, the normal participants, investors, say, that asset is trading below fair value. I should buy some. And start to move towards fair value. The halving occurs. Well, now suddenly the fair value doubles, right? Now, it doesn't make sense. So, it actually does, but let's just think about the math. So now the traders get involved because now things start to move, right? People who watch the show, they're like, I don't really care about fair value. I just need movement. I need to scalp some profits. Well, then as we get to fair value, right? And then the miners say, once it's above fair value, the miners are like, okay, I can sell, I can pay my bills. Okay, good. So now we start to get above fair value. Now the speculators come in. Well, what's a speculator? A speculator is the opposite side of a hedger. Well, what's a hedger? A hedger is like a miner or an oil producer. You are selling your product forward in the market, and the speculator takes the other side. That's all that means. Now, there are other types of speculators, but that's generally what happens. Well, so then we're where we are today. We're in crypto fall, and you start to see the price move away from fair value. Well, then the gamblers come in. And the gamblers, they don't give a shit about fair value. They don't care about anything except, hey, I can buy it on leverage. So they lever up and we start to go parabolic. Now, some would argue Well, that's what happened in December, right? All this, enthusiasm about the strategic Bitcoin reserve. We went well above fair value. Fair value was 85. We got to 106. And now they're like, oh, it's over. We missed it. I'm like, no. So I do this 10 surprises. And one of my surprises was, look, everyone thinks number go up, 4-year cycle's over. I'm here to say it's not. So what's likely to happen in my mind is we're going to have our typical crypto fall. It'll probably start summertime and go right through the fall. And we'll pick a number. If fair value is 85 to 90 today, by fall, it'll be 100-ish. Let's just call it a round number, 100. And that's because of Metcalfe's law, and you can calculate what fair value is. And Tim Peterson does a great chart on it. So all of that says, okay, in previous cycles, we've gone to 2 to 2.1 times fair value during the parabolic stupid phase. And what I mean by stupid, meaning when you pay 2 times fair value for something, you shouldn't expect to make a lot of return. Right? You should expect, it's like buying NVIDIA at $140. You shouldn't expect to make a lot before, you'll lose, and maybe you'll make money long term, but it was trading at 36 times revenues. So you shouldn't expect to make a lot of money. So this time, I think there's less leverage. There's still leverage. And everyone's been reading about this levered trader 40 times. Yeah, but 40 times is different than 100 times. Used to be 100 times leverage you could get. So let's say this cycle we go to 1.5, 1.6. So I said somewhere between 150 and 170 would be the peak. And then we would have another crypto winter. And so that's not like saying, oh my God, tomorrow we're going to zero. It's saying that humans are going to human. And we're going to push the price above fair value. And then we're going to push it below. Now look, if 106 was this cycle top, if they pulled that forward with all the nonsense, we're not going down much from here. We're below fair value. So there's not a lot of big leverage to unwind. There's not a lot of things that have to get undone. So unless we go to 150 to 170, then we're not going to have a correction. We already had it. And so is it possible that we're in a new era and we're going to kind of hover right around fair value and maybe just have a little bit of volatility around fair value and we're becoming a stable coin? I don't think so. I think humans are going to human. You lose money every single day because you're just getting destroyed. So it's, again, a long answer to saying what's happening is there's very, very big money. To your point on the institutions, that is shorting the crud out of futures with reckless abandon. This is what happened with gold. When the gold ETF was approved, it took over a year for GLD to get back to its issue price because they were spoofing the futures.
Like, why is Bitcoin valuable? It's the
most powerful computing network the world's ever seen. It was an epiphany moment for me where it was like, no. It's all about proof of work. It's all about converting energy to value.
Well, and to me, what made me love Bitcoin was this notion that there were billions of people that couldn't access financial services. Yeah. And not only could they access it, they could be an equal participant without a USB. They just needed to take a portion of, in the early days, their graphics card and dedicate it to mining through a partition. It wasn't that difficult.
And it really is one of the most elegant creations ever.
I agree.
It's a lofty statement, but it really is. The genius of just what you described of the root level network effect. And networks are so incredibly valuable. In fact, the 5 most valuable assets in the world today are networks. Right? What does Amazon make? They don't make anything. They're a network of buyers and sellers, and they take a cut of transactions. AWS is a little different, but their core business is a network. Apple, right? They make these, but that's not the power is the network.
마크 유스코는 코드에 내장된 가격 상승 구조로 인해 비트코인 4년 사이클은 여전히 유효하다고 얘기하며 반감기에 어떻게 가격 상승을 유도하는지 그리고 비트코인의 분배 구조, 비트코인의 네트워크 가치를 높게 평가하고 있습니다. 그는 아직 비트코인의 겨울이 오지 않았고 15만 달러까지의 성장 가능성을 얘기하고 있습니다. 우리는 객관적인 시각으로 투자를 해야 하고 지금 당장만 보고 투자할 게 아니라 미래를 보고 투자를 해야겠죠. 010-2472-0429 전화번호로 탈겜이 적어서 문자 보내주시면 2025년 비트코인과 코인 시장에 대한 분석, 정보들 공유해드리겠습니다. 현재 우리에게 중요한 것은 이러한 정보를 어떻게 활용할 것인가입니다. 지금까지 영상 시청해주셔서 감사하고요. 다음에 더 좋은 영상으로 찾아뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다.